Wealth Wizards, how to play. Lay out the board. Each player picks a token and its corresponding character card, then places it on start. Shuffle the event and fate decks and place them on their spots on the board. Give each player 1,500 gold coins, divided as follows. Remove the contents of the box, flip over the cardboard insert, and place the divider as follows. All the remaining gold and debt coins stay with the box, and this is called the vault. One player is the vault keeper and manages the vault's money, which must be separate from their own. Then place the stock cards, index fund cards, and mega fund cards with the bank. Each player's money is divided into two sections, savings and spending. Savings can only be used to pay for expense spaces. Everything else is paid from your spending. You can move money in and out of your savings before you roll the dice at the start of your turn. However, you may not do so afterward, and if another player catches you, you must pay them 500 gold coins. On your turn, roll both dice and move your token exactly that many spaces clockwise around the board. If you roll a double, move and roll again. This process repeats until you don't roll a double, at which point your turn ends, and the play passes to the next person. Each character has an ability that can be used by the player at any point during their turn. As indicated by their card, once you use your ability, flip it over. Whenever you land on or pass start, flip your character card face up, and you can use your ability again. For Lil Munch, you can steal any amount of gold coins from any player at any time. However, if you're caught, you must return the stolen amount plus 500 gold coins. For Mandolph the Blue, you can demand a re-roll of the dice if you don't like what you rolled, then choose the roll you like the best. For Eris, you can swap any two characters' positions on the board, excluding yourself. And for Treasurer of the Realm, landing on an event space allows you to draw the top 3 cards and place one of your liking, then return others to the bottom of the pile. If you land on an expense space, you must pay the amount stated on the space from your savings, then place it into the vault. If you do not have enough money in your savings, you must pay for the remaining amount in double from your spending. For example, landing on this expense space with only 100 gold coins in your savings means the remaining 100 gold coins is now doubled to 200 and paid through your spending pile. If you land on an unowned stock, you may buy it from the vault for the listed price. If you do not wish to buy it, nothing happens and your turn is over. You may only own a maximum of 4 stocks, regardless of what industry they're from. If you land on a stock another player owns, that player must ask you a question from the question bank. Get it right, nothing happens. Answer incorrectly, you must pay the owner the base dividend. When you own 2 stocks from the same industry, you may trade them in for an index fund from the same color at any time. The price to trade in 2 stocks for an index fund is listed at the bottom of each card, and there is no limit to how many index funds you can own. When a player owns any 2 index fund cards, they can then trade it in for a mega fund for a fee of 1,500 gold coins. Trading in for an index or a mega fund card both requires you to correctly answer a question from the question bank. At any point during your turn, you can take another player's stock card by paying the hostile takeover amount on their card to the vault. You may not hostile takeover fund cards, and you cannot attempt a hostile takeover if you own 4 stock cards. Event cards change the dividends you receive from stock cards every time you pass a dividends dock. If you land on an event space, draw 1 card from its pile and place it on its matching industry space in the center of the board. If a card is already in that space, replace it and return the old card to the bottom of the pile. If you draw a wild event, choose whichever industry you want to place it in, but you may not change it afterwards. Every time you move on to or past a dividends dock, collect the dividends for all stock and fund cards you own. The dividends you receive for stock cards are determined by the event cards in the center of the board. Negative dividends mean payments to the vault, and dividends from fund cards remain unchanged. If you do not have enough gold coins to pay another player or the vault, you have two options. One of your options is to either sell your stock cards or your fund cards for the value stated on them. When selling stock cards, they must be sold based on what event is on the board, whether it's green, red, or neutral. Your other option is to take a loan by collecting debt coins and the same value of gold coins from the vault. To pay back debt coins, you must return them with the same amount in gold coins to the vault. If you ever have 2,000 or more in debt coins, you are out of the game and return everything you have to the vault. As you travel around the board, there are several other spaces you can land on. If you land on the gold portal, place 100 gold coins into the middle and roll the dice again. If you roll a double, collect all the gold coins. If you land on the forbidden forest, roll the dice again. If you roll above a 7, nothing happens. But if you roll below a 7, you must pay 100 gold coins to the vault. If you land on a fate space, you may take one card from its draw pile and follow the instructions on the card. The first player to own a mega fund and have no debt coins is the winner.